For time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. I said, are certain to miss the future.
Oh no, I missed that.
Prime Minister Castro, this missile crisis was the last straw. We almost blew ourselves up. Now, we invited you here today...
In good faith.
In good faith. To sort this thing out.
And why is he here? He lost.
As I always say, forgive your enemies, but remember their names. Now, gentlemen, as I like to think, in the long history of the world, that there are only a few generations.
Sounds like someone breaking in.
It's just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
Hold up. Almost blew themselves up? What happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis? What is the Cuban Missile Crisis? Find out on this episode of another video project I did for Attention. Due to the failed military invasion of Cuba led by the CIA on April 17, 1961, the Bay of Pigs invasion, because dank pig is bay, and the American-owned Jupiter ballistic missiles being present in Italy and Turkey, what?
Nikita Khrushchev.
So Nikita Khrushchev, the Soviet leader, accepted Cuba's request for nukes to deter invasions. During a secretive meeting between Nikita and Fidel Castro in July of 1962, an agreement was made and missile launch facilities were put in construction later that summer. Now that's what I call a bad idea. It really do be like that with Ben. Oops, I destroyed reality again! Honey, have you seen my nuclear explosives? Oh, George. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a 13-day confrontation between the U.S. and the Soviet Union about deployment of American ballistic missiles in Italy and Turkey, followed by the Soviets' ballistic missile deployment in Cuba. Lasting from October 16th to October 28th, 1962, the missile crisis is the closest the Cold War came to becoming a full-scale nuclear war. With the U.S. elections of 1962 on their way, the White House denied charges that it was ignoring Soviet missiles 90 miles from Florida for months. The missile preparations were confirmed when an Air Force U-2 spy plane caught clear photographic evidence of ballistic missile facilities.
I assure you, there are no nuclear facilities anywhere near us. We are completely safe. Then how come I can see one right there? It's literally right there. Bam, bam, you're dead. We're safe.
2 days later, at 8:45 a.m. on October 16th, 1962, President John F. Kennedy was informed by National Security Advisor McGeorge Bundy that a major international crisis was at hand. President Kennedy, principal foreign policy officials, and national defense officials are briefed on the evidence found by the U-2 and discuss a response to the apparent challenge. Two options are offered: airstrike, an invasion, or naval quarantine with threat of further military action. Mr. President, there is a crisis!
In
trucks
Oh.
and beer and girls.
What? Just nuke Cuba. Just do it. I'm gonna need you to leave my office. I'm a little busy here.
Beer and girls and trucks and beer and girls and trucks and beer and...
What? On October 17th, USA military units moved to bases in southeastern U.S. as photos from a different U-2 show extra sights and 16 to 32 missiles. So, can I get an update? What did the U-2 spy plane catch?
16 to 32 extra missiles, Mr. President.
On October 18th, Soviet Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko assures President Kennedy that the Soviet aid to Cuba is defensive and not threatening to the U.S. Without revealing that he knows of the missiles, Kennedy tells Gromyko his public warning of September 4th that there would be grave consequences if Cuba was introduced to Soviet offensive weapons.
We assure you, President Kennedy, that we are only providing missiles to Cuba. I mean, I didn't say any missiles, what are you talking about? We are providing help to Cuba so that you cannot invade them. We are not threatening you. And there are no missiles, I swear.
Well, I'd like to remind you that, if you are giving missiles to Cuba, I'll f***ing kill you, so there's that, too. There's also that. On October 19th, President Kennedy's advisors debate the necessary and appropriate course of action. October 20th, Kennedy decides on the plan of quarantine and the plans for naval unit deployments as well as work on a speech to inform the American people are started. Bust out the crayons, it's planning time, boys. October 21st, General Walter Sweeney of Tactical Air Command informs Kennedy that an airstrike could not guarantee the destruction of all missiles.
Hell no, we can't just destroy all the missiles.
October 22nd, Kennedy reveals the evidence of Cuba-owned Soviet missiles and the naval quarantine plan. October 26th, Fidel Castro urges Khrushchev to nuke America if they invaded. Khrushchev tells Kennedy they will remove the missiles if the quarantine is uplifted and the U.S. does not invade Cuba. October 27th, another message demands tougher terms, being the removal of Jupiter missiles in Turkey, and a U-2 plane is shot down, killing the pilot. October 28th, conflict ends, the Soviet Union and U.S. both accepting the proposal. November 21st, all missiles were removed from Cuba and the quarantine officially ends. Wait a minute. So when did
We almost blew ourselves up.
happen? When did that happen? I don't think I said anything about that. Did they lie to me? I think they lied to me. No! No! That's not acceptable! No! 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 Thanks for watching my video. Give me an A, please.
Aliens are a metaphor for communism.